House Prepper.
Live simple, live free. Are you gonna start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill,
And I'm Elizabeth with Tiny House Prepper.
and we are here in this beautiful city of San Francisco. And you know, a lot of people in the past have been asking us questions about wanting to know how we met. And
People ask pretty frequently.
it really kind of surprised me. But anyway, here we are in San Francisco, and this city actually has a fairly significant role that it played in part of how we got together. So it's bringing back for me a lot of nostalgic memories of all of that.
Yeah.
So we figured we would start talking about that, and actually it might be more than one video because we
Yeah, we'll
Anyway.
see.
So how we met. Well, I grew up in the Northeast, and when I joined the Army, I went to, basic training and all that. My first duty assignment was in Colorado Springs at Fort Carson.
Yep.
And it was there that we met. I had arrived in early June, and I started going to the Circle Drive Baptist Church, which was the largest Baptist church in the city.
Yep.
And I had been going there over the summer for a couple of months. And then sometime early in September, I was sitting in class in the college and career, I guess they called it, Sunday school class. And about 10 minutes after the Sunday school class started, right?
Yeah.
In walks this girl that I hadn't seen yet, and there was only one seat left in the room, and that was the one right in front of me. And she came in and disrupted class, Sunday school class, and I hadn't seen her, but it was obvious that everybody knew her because she went by Beth at the time. It was everybody, Hey Beth, she was very excited to see her. So she sat down right in front of me, and she had this like bubbly, vivacious aura about her. And she was wearing this dress it would have been in '76. And she was wearing this dress that back then they would have called a maxi dress or a maxi skirt. Went all the way to the floor. It was blue and it had little white flowers all over it.
Amazes me he remembers that. Goodness, yeah.
So that's how I met her, but she didn't meet me
I didn't see him back there.
until later that evening.
Yeah, I'm back to church that night. And actually, we got kind of introduced at that point, just at church, because, then I actually really met him. And I can tell you honestly, I will never forget the first time I really looked at him face to face and said hi. He had the most beautiful eyes I think I had ever seen. I'll never forget that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, big, dark eyes. I remember that. But it turned out that night that the college and career group was all going to a pizza place called Fargo's Pizza Palace. And it was just like a couple blocks away from the church. And
It wasn't just a little pizza
No,
place
it
where
was-
you go in and sit down. It was an experience.
yeah, beautiful, big, elaborate, incredible place. And he had hoped to be going that night with a girl that he had met, and she took off with somebody else.
Well, see,
Yeah.
there were a lot of us from Fort Carson, a lot of soldiers from Fort Carson. There was also the Air Force Academy.
Colorado Springs is very military.
And a lot of the cadets, Air Force cadets, also went to Circle Drive Baptist. So there
Yeah.
was this like friendly competition among the soldiers and the Air Force cadets. And I really wanted to spend the evening with this girl, and she was also fairly new at the church. But she ended up pairing off with the cadet.
With a cadet, yeah.
And that's the last time I ever saw her.
And so it really turned out that everybody kind of goes walking off, grouping off in pairs, and then it was like me and him
Yeah,
left.
and it was like, well,
Hi.
hi,
Yeah.
here we are.
So,
So we just kind of got thrown together because we were the only two left.
we were the only two left. I was home from college. I had gone to school that summer. I was either in school that summer or I worked up there that summer. So I had been off 120 miles away in college. And so, we just started talking as we walked along and had some pizza together. And we had so much fun that night. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We had an absolute blast. I really, really enjoyed it. And that was how we met at church. And like I said, it truly astounds me that he remembers the dress I was wearing. And I know the one. My mom made it for me, and I know that dress. So, yeah. It was in style back then. Yep. So, Yeah.
And just to show how significant it was to me when I met her, you might not think so, but I have always been an introvert, very shy, not on camera, but everywhere
in real
else.
life, right?
And whenever I would go out with a girl, like I had a girlfriend in high school, I think it was like 3 months, and she finally broke up with me because I had never kissed her.
Oh wow.
For 3 months. And usually it would take me months and months and months with a girl before I would kiss her. Well, after we came back from Fargo's, the whole group walked back. It was just across the field.
Yeah.
And everybody sort of went their separate ways, and the two of us just sat there in the parking lot just talking for
A long time.
till
Yeah.
like well after midnight, it seems to me. And it just, you know, she had her car and I had my car, and it was a beautiful summer evening, and we just sat there and talked for hours. And just to show how significant it was, I kissed her that night before we left.
Just a really sweet, nice to meet you, good night kiss. It was so sweet, and he was so surprised at himself. We talked about it later.
It was the first time in my life I had ever done that. Now with my second wife, it was easier. And it was the only time in my life I've ever done that.
Yeah.
That was a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Get all kinds of nasty comments about that.
You gotta be careful about things like that, dear. But yeah. So then, of course, I went back to college, and
She had just taken that semester off, and come home, and that's when I met her.
yeah, and then I went back, to school, and we had just basically ended up being very good friends, and so I introduced him to. Well, he met a really good buddy of mine. I'd known her since we were 11. Really dear friend, Bev. And if you're watching this, Bev, I love you.
Oh, you introduced me.
I actually introduced
Well, I mean,
you
I
to...
know who she was, but I never really talked to her.
Yeah. Anyway, I introduced
I
them.
recognized her because I'd only been at the church a couple months, so
Yeah.
I recognized her as part of the group, but I didn't know who she was.
So yeah, I introduced them, and I went back to school. They started dating, and then there was a guy up at school that I had been going with for a while and everything. Anyway, it's really fun because over the course of time, when I left school, came back home again, Bill and I ended up getting together and, got married and everything. And then the guy that I had known up there ended up meeting Bev because she came up to see me, and he flipped over her. Anyway, they ended up getting married. I sang at their wedding, and we're all very good friends. So it was an interesting swap how that all happened with Bev and Arnie.
Right, right.
And but we've all stayed good friends, and they have a lovely family, and they've been together now for like 40 plus years.
Yeah, they got
So-
married just not long after we did.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just fun. We kind of had a community of young people that were just close and enjoying each other. So yeah.
Yeah. So I said that San Francisco here played a significant role in our early life, and it really did. Well, that's going to be for the next video.
Okay.
So, part 2.
Part 2.
Coming up in a couple of days. Watch for it. And see why we love San Francisco so much.
Right. Alrighty.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching.
See you later. Love you guys.
Be blessed.